What's up, hybrids? Welcome back to another episode of the Fandom Hybrid Podcast. This is Hanako, and I am here with Michelle and Kacey, and we are reluctantly discussing the series finale of The Walking Dead. And it's been out for 2 weeks now, and it still hurts to say that. Like, you sure y'all don't want to give us like one more season?
Season 12.
Part 1.
Part 1.
Just a little bit. Oh, how are we feeling? Like, how many times have y'all watched this now?
I've seen it twice.
That's it?
3 times.
Oh, okay. I guess I'm a glutton for punishment. I've seen it like 6.
Hey,
But see, I'm still watching Fear the Walking Dead, so I still feel like the show is still carrying on because I'm watching another series. So
Okay, but I love Fear and everything, but it ain't the main show.
it's not. Trust me,
Not the
it's
main
not.
show. Whew, there's a lot to unpack in this episode. We got a lot to talk about. Kacey and I got stuff to talk about. What are you doing with your? What are you doing?
I'm trying to fix my thing. There we go. Okay.
Kacey and I have a lot to talk about because we actually went to LA. We were present for the series finale event at the Orpheum Theater. We got to watch the show with the cast and crew. We got to attend a live taping of Talking Dead with damn near the whole cast.
Yeah.
Right.
Everybody was there. We got to meet a couple of people, get some photos. We had a good time.
Friends, they left me at home. They
Excuse
wouldn't pack me. They wouldn't pack me in that $60 suitcase.
Have it
Girl.
on record that we asked you several times
Several
on the
times.
podcast to
And you
come
said,
with us.
my
We
husband
asked
said I
when we
couldn't go.
Right. I couldn't fit in y'all backpack.
Girl, look, our stuff couldn't fit in our backpack. I ended up having to pay for a carry-on on the
Did
way
you?
back. Yes. So let me tell you, let's go into the ridiculous stuff before we get into the heartbreak and happiness and all the emotions that is the series finale of The Walking Dead. So of course we flew Spirit because Spirit was cheap. Got a round trip ticket to LA for $305. Okay. This is for the weekend before Thanksgiving. So I was like, okay, I'll deal with Spirit. Went online, bought me one of those traveling backpacks that kind of expands and you can put stuff in it. It was great. When I left Atlanta, I knew my bag was just slightly larger than what they consider a personal bag, but I was like, okay, I'm gonna see if they're gonna let me get on this plane. I got on the plane, no problem. I stuck my bag up under the seat best I could, no problem. Coming back, however, was a different story because we had goodies from the finale event.
Oh.
We had a couple of little extra things. We had bought snacks and stuff, and we had extra. And yeah, my backpack was looking mighty thick on the day I was supposed to fly out. And let me tell you, the LAX Spirit people, they were watching people like hawks. Like if your book bag was that much bigger, that girl was like, "Oh, you need to see if your book, if your bag is gonna fit in this thing. If it's not, you're gonna have to pay for a carry on." And she was trying to warn people before they got to the gate, but she was like, "If you get to this gate, if you get to boarding, and we have to pull you out of the line because of a carry on, it's gonna cost you more in the end. If you were boarding and they pulled you out, and you had to pay $100." I was like, you know what? Let me go on ahead and pay my little
100.
and just be done.
Oh no, that's ridiculous. I mean, I seriously find that ridiculous.
It is.
Highway robbery, honey.
It is.
It really is.
But that's okay. The only reason why I flew them was because Southwest wanted like $700. So I was like, oh, that $400 could go towards, my trip and our visit to the Funko store, which we got to do as well, and food. So, yeah, so that was a thing. But anyway, other than that, LA was great. We were there not long enough and we plan on going back, but we got to attend this finale event with hundreds of other fans. We got to see the stars. We got to see the red carpet. We met Melissa McBride.
Awesome.
And I had met Kari Payton and Ross Marquand before at Fandemic and Dragon Con. So I'd seen them before, but we got to meet them again. I got Kari to autograph my Walking Dead poster that I finally found. Now, let me tell you, we had planned on getting posters to take with us to get autographs. Could not find a poster here. And the ones on Amazon, they were taking they were like, oh, expected arrival date mid-December. I was like, that's going to be way too late for me. We happened to walk into a souvenir shop that had posters in the back, and I just decided, let me go see what posters they got. Sure enough, they have Walking Dead season 1 posters. We grabbed them, and I think those posters were what,
$8.
$8.
Oh,
Yeah. So we had a lot of fun little stuff happen to us on this trip.
My poster became a sign.
Yeah. Yes,
that says I love you, Denai.
Once we realized Denai was actually going to be there right before she got on stage, Kacey unrolled her poster. She folded it so that the back of it was visible. She took one of her markers that we bought and she wrote in big green letters, I love you, Denai. And she hung it over the balcony. And just let me tell you, I have a picture of Kacey and she's just like this. She is just steady, focused on Denai. When I tell you, I had to check to see if that chick was breathing. She was just like,
I ain't want to miss nothing. I love her. I love her. Yeah. If I ever meet her, I think I might pass out.
We were hoping that would happen because I was like, I'm definitely getting that on camera.
You have to.
I think if we had stayed out at the red carpet maybe another 10 or 15 minutes, we may have been able to catch her on the red carpet, but we would have missed the time to go in and look at the fan experience and see all of the props and how they decorated and everything. And we wanted to go experience that too. So, we saw quite a few people on the red carpet, a lot of people on the red carpet. A few of them came over, talked to us while we were standing on the side. So it was a good little experience. So we'll talk more about that later. Let's get into this episode. So the first thing about this episode that I noticed is that we did not get the voiceover intro from Judith. And that worried the hell out of me. Because I was like, okay, if Judith is not giving us the voiceover, does that mean that she's not okay? I didn't think they were going to kill Judith off. But there was that one little moment where
you actually thought that?
Yeah, when I didn't hear her voiceover, because you remember we talked about it a couple episodes ago where I felt like the way that they were doing the voiceovers, it was kind of like Judith in the future, or what she was supposed to be like in the future. And then the fact that we didn't get that voiceover, I was like, y'all better not kill this shit before her mom and her daddy come back. So like I said, I knew it wasn't happening, but they scared me just a little bit. Just a little bit. Enough for me to be side-eyeing the screen while we were in the theater like, I don't like this. Where's Judith? Where's the voiceover? But instead of hearing the voiceover, we see Daryl rushing into the hospital with her unconscious. He puts her on a stretcher and he goes to look for help. And as he's doing that, there are 2 Commonwealth soldiers coming down the hall. One of them has a container of, I guess, medications, healthcare supplies, and they knock Daryl out. Now Daryl is knocked out. Judith is kind of conscious and she's looking around and she sees that walkers are headed towards the hospital, and Daryl in his haste left the door open. Of course, he wasn't thinking about what was behind him. He's trying to get Judith to the hospital. This girl, when I tell you, she is damned if she ain't a Grimes. Shot,
right,
weakened, blood loss. This chick gets off the stretcher, goes to the door to close them, and she has to fight with a walker who is trying to get into the door. When I say that girl has some determination, because she was like, what y'all not gonna do is come in here when my uncle is laying on the floor unconscious
and eat his brain.
Right. and then eat mine because I can only fight with one arm right now. But she gets a table in front of the door. She passes out. I was like, okay, y'all stressing us out from the very beginning. All right, I guess that's what we're gonna do. I don't know how I want to do this. How do y'all want to do this? I don't think we really need to recap at this point because I think everybody who's listening to us, everybody who watched, they know what happened. They know what order it happened. I think we
can just give our reaction to it because I have thoughts.
What you got thoughts on?
Start. What's your thoughts on?
Let's start. Besides the fact, look, let's not get to the end quite yet. Okay, we already know Rick and Michonne showed up at the end of the episode. We know that's all Casey want to talk about. Let's talk about. Let's get a other.
Okay, the problem I have is they should have killed more people. Personally,
I don't know what is wrong with y'all. People wanting folks dead.
Realistically, even though it's a fake show, realistically, with the Horde and with Pamela's coup, everybody came out unscathed.
That's because it was our people fighting.
Except for 3 people.
Who's the third person? Oh, Jules.
But actually, it was a couple more, but the other 2 I think were just
the
like
unknown
random people.
The unknown
people. It's the unknown.
But I mean, I called Jules in the 2 episodes ago when she got swept away by the walkers. Even before that, because of the way that she was looking while she was walking with them. Because again, that was the first time she had ever done that. It was like, yeah, I don't think Jules is gonna be long for this world. And I mean, she was putting up a fight. When the group was sitting there fighting, they're still fighting the walkers that cornered them when they were trying to get Daryl and Judith out the way. She was sitting there fighting them. I think the problem was that last walker that she killed. I think the angle that she came at him, it put her exposed to another walker. And I think that's where she messed up.
But she could have kept going. But she what? They didn't bite your legs. So why you fall? Oh, you falling down.
Girl,
boo, you keep running. We cut your arm off at the end. Let's go. Let's go.
I don't know what it feels like to have a walker, a diseased, decaying person biting into my arm. But I'm pretty sure if I'm already panicked, if I'm already scared and that happens, I'm not going to be sitting there thinking logically like, okay, this is what they can do and this is what they're going to do and we need to do. I don't think she was thinking that.
Well, she could have one thing you could have done is thought about survival, and she wasn't quite thinking that because you just keep going. Rosita didn't sit there and say, oh.
Rosita had that baby on her chest, 1. 2, Rosita is one of the best fighters in our group.
Correct.
3, Rosita is Rosita. You can't compare Jules and Rosita.
I'm not, but Jules could have got up and moving.
Let me ask you a question. What do you remember of Jules from this series? Besides the fact that she was Luke's girlfriend.
That she calls Luke to die. That's all I know.
Well, she didn't cause him to die. She caused him to get bit.
Okay.
Technically speaking, him being knocked down on the ground by the walker and hitting his head on the concrete, that's what caused him to get bit. Because I'm pretty sure Luke would have had presence of mind, even though, yes, he was worried about Jules. He was still fighting. He was trying to get to her. He was still fighting, but that walker grabbed him and knocked him down, and he hit his head on that concrete. I'm sure, he probably was not in the. I mean, I'm sitting he literally just fell on my.
Yeah, TV. He did. I'm seeing it now. He did, trying to pull her because it's like she had lead in her feet, and he pulling her, saying, "Help." Help.
She was surrounded by walkers, Michelle,
and at this point,
so heartless.
Right, because Luke had to suffer for that. You know what I'm saying? I understand that's his girlfriend. And then he had to suffer because he was trying to pull her and she wasn't moving.
Yeah,
because
but
they
I
bit
mean,
her ankles.
she had walkers clawing at her. She had them all over. They were probably clawing at her back, like grabbing her. She
Yeah.
probably just couldn't get some traction.
She-
Again, like I said, we don't really know much about Jules except for the fact that she's
Yeah.
Luke's girlfriend.
But then we
I
have
don't remember
Judith,
her.
who should be passed out, getting up, closing doors. You know, survivor
Again,
instincts kicked in on her
our
too.
people versus everybody else.
Come on,
Jules was
Oceanside.
one of our people, though. If you look at it that way.
Oceanside, yes, they some of our people, but they didn't come up with like, yes, they were warriors because they had to fight after, you know, their men and their sons were taken.
I mean, they was part of the training that they did when Michonne was there. Remember, they had their own little plan.
Ain't our people.
Jules was
Not
working in the
that way.
cafeteria. She wasn't doing the
She wasn't even out there for that.
She making some clam chowder.
Judith has been in this since birth. Look, don't let me start. Look. And plus, like Judith said, excuse me, my mama went to go get my dad, and we're gonna be a family again. We're gonna be together again. Judith is like, again, which
I'm not gonna die.
What y'all not about to do is come up in this hospital and think y'all about to have me for lunch, think y'all about to have my uncle for lunch. This ain't finna happen.
This ain't what you thought it was.
What? Yes.
Not at all.
Now, the first time watching it, I was upset when Luke was on that table all cut up. You know, they trying to save his life. And I was upset. Second time watching, I was like, all this sobbing.
That was they family, girl.
Let's say, Judith, I need y'all to go to another room.
That's their family. You leave them alone.
Why I need you to go to another room?
Why is she so heartless today? Oh my God, Anthony, are you in the room? What is wrong with her today?
Excuse me, y'all making too much noise over there. I got a baby right here, y'all.
I guess because I was looking down, looking at something, I just said, I'm like, this is how it was the first time I watched it. I mean, because first time I was crying with them, but the second time I was like, okay, this is a little too much.
This is why I always say I don't want Kelly cry, because when Angel Theory cries on this show, she gives it her all. I'm telling you, Kelly was a mess. I'm sitting there next to Kacey. I'm like, okay, I know everybody else in this theater is crying because I can hear all the sniffles and sobs. But when I tell you, ugly cry going on, because I think even though so Luke has been one of my little favorite side characters on the show, just because he represents a portion, I feel like, of the zombie apocalypse that still kept who he was at his core.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I love that about him. Like, all of this ugliness, it didn't change the way he was. It didn't change who he was as a person. He was still hopeful. He was still optimistic. And sometimes in the midst of all this grittiness, you need to have a person like that. Now, we knew when he was gone for so long and he just automatically showed up a few episodes ago, we already knew he was going to die. Okay.
Correct.
We already knew this. And then AMC kind of sort of spoiled it by posting a photo. And
so we were ready.
Yeah, but it was him. I guess that was when he was, when he got knocked out.
When he fell.
Because again, he had a knife in his hand. He was trying to kill those walkers when he got knocked down. So that's why the knife was there. But we didn't know what that photo was. We just knew, oh, that's definitely Luke on the ground. He is definitely dying. So we were prepared. But I think the women's performance in this made it even more harrowing. Because they were like, okay.
Or no.
Huh?
No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Because if you think about it, this whole group, this is the group that started the new era of the show together.
They
all
did.
5 of them. And they survived this whole time just for Luke to die right at the end. Yeah, and I was a little emotional. I mean,
I was emotional the first time. But looking at the second time, it was a lot. But also, I mean, man, y'all had him suffering. I mean, y'all cutting off legs and he bleeding all over the place. I'm like, this is the worst death ever.
Well, I mean, if you think about it, they went to the hospital thinking they were going to have access to medical supplies, not knowing Pamela's bitch ass had them take all of the supplies.
So it was
these
like a
kids.
horrible death. I mean, it really
Yeah,
was.
It was.
However, I would have cried more if he died on Fantastic Beasts, but that's just me.
I'm about to kick you off this podcast.
No,
if you
because
are
I
going
love
to-
him on there. So I would probably be more sobbing if it
Oh,
happened there
no,
than
we're
on
not
here.
going to talk his. No,
I'm not, because I don't never want him to ever leave that show. But I'm just saying I would have
Okay.
been sobbing like that
Okay.
if it was on the other movie. Here, I was like, okay, Luke has passed away. Let's get out of here now.
Let's move on.
Let's move on.
And poor Judith looked so pale. I was like, you know what? This girl has been through it. But like I said last episode, are you really a Grimes if you ain't been shot?
Yeah, that's true.
Like-
Been shot.
Oh,
But like
but
good old
anyway,
Daryl with the old blood.
with the girl.
The super blood.
And the
I
crazy
give blood
thing
to
was,
everybody.
as soon as Carol said, we have to make sure your blood types match, I kind of figured that's what was going to happen. But that line about Merle used to make me sell it when we were kids, girl,
That
I
was horrible.
hollering.
That was horrible.
I was hollering because that is such a Merle thing to do.
Yeah. He was like, oh, you O positive? Oh, yeah, we need some money.
We can
You
get
about to
all
sell
the
your
money
blood.
here.
Because if you
got
think
that
about
good
it,
blood.
their mama was probably sitting in the bed drunk with her cigarettes. Their daddy was out wherever doing whatever. They were probably staying away from him anyway. So yeah, they probably did need a little bit of change. And just the fact that it was just one of those things where he was like, okay, yeah. So you know how to do this, and you know Carol knows how to do it because she's probably been helping Ezekiel with his little
In the
makeshift
clinic.
clinic. But the fact that he was just like, oh yeah, my blood goes with everybody.
I can pass it out like candy.
You
Should
know?
have gave Luke some.
I'm like, we needed you to stay on Hilltop
There
when
was
we needed
not-
blood and stuff. Come on, Daryl.
There's not that much blood that they could have saved Luke. I mean, I think they knew it at the time because I mean, Kelly was in earnest trying to wrap his leg, but Connie
Oh
was
yeah,
just
it was
like,
over. It's over. It was too much blood.
Too much.
Too much blood.
Mm-mm.
And you can play the music when you go to sleep.
You know what?
Music man.
I cannot stand you right now. I cannot stand you right now. Oh my God. But
He digging for a harmonica. Okay.
you know what? Let that man have his one last
Hey,
gesture with
keep
his
the music
family before he
alive.
leaves.
Keep me, yep. They had to teach it to the children.
We're gonna keep it alive for you. The Luke,
The music man.
The Luke, the Music Man Auditorium.
That would be nice.
They built it.
They did. They probably did.
In our
build it.
dream, they built it. They built that for
probably
him.
did.
Well, with his friends, they probably did. They did have a place called Luke's Music.
Or something.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I'm sure they went to Governor Ezekiel and was like, we should do this in honor of our friend.
I kind of agree with Kari Payton though. Kari Payton said on Talking Dead, he said he tried to convince Angela to come up with a moniker other than governor because we don't have a good track record with governors on this show.
No, we do not.
Look, governors and doctors, but thankfully he and Tommy beat that curse.
Right.
Okay, so let's start on this. So I believe at one point, one of you two said that Tommy was gonna die,
Probably me.
but he survived. We'll get to the other ones later.
A whole bunch of people should have died.
Whatever. I don't know what
I was there
about
too.
y'all that wants people to die, but with people as skilled as ours and the
because
contraptions they came up with,
I really
very
thought
possible.
Aaron was going.
Thank you.
And y'all were
Thank
wrong.
you.
Casey will tell you when Erin made it all the way to the end, I was dancing in my seat. She was just like, oh Lord. I was like, oh, I can't wait to talk to you and Michelle about this on the podcast because I have been saying it all along that Erin was not gonna die and Jerry was not gonna die.
I thought Aaron was gonna die by sacrificing himself. That would have been really nice.
Nope.
Oh, that would have been cool. They should have
Mhm.
thought about that.
No, we have enough children that's been orphaned. No, Gracie don't need to lose her daddy. So no, I'm glad y'all were wrong about him. I'm glad y'all were wrong about Jerry. Who else were y'all wrong about? Now, I would say I was wrong about Lydia or Ezekiel. I was surprised about that because I thought one or the other was going to die. And then I was like, okay.
You was also wrong about, you thought Elijah.
Yeah, that's why. I'm sorry. I said Ezekiel, but I meant Elijah.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Because once Lydia got her arm cut off, I was like, oh, and Elijah's in the crowd. Okay, Elijah might not make it.
But Elijah was with Jerry.
I thought him and Jerry were going to be part of that crowd that was coming through the estates, and they were, but not in the dead sense. They came rushing through right before they closed the doors. I was like, yes. I think I actually did that in the
theater. There was a whole lot of yelling going on in that theater. Let you know.
And it was so sweet with Elijah and Lydia when they got together, and he was like kissing her hand. I was like, oh, they're gonna get married and have some kids in the future. I love it.
One-armed babies.
Right. Now who also should have died, but they made a good point of not killing her.
Pamela.
Before they made that point, I was like, shoot her. And then after he made the point of this is being in jail will be worse for her, I'm like, oh yeah.
Oh,
make sure she don't die. Make sure she don't die.
He knows from experience.
He knows.
He said it to Maggie.
He knows, and that's why Maggie is shot. Wow. Lance. So she won't be like, take me, Lance. Take me.
That was the only way.
Take me, Lance. She going slowly. Take my cheek, Lance. Take it.
Was it just me, or did it seem like in the end, Pamela may have felt a little bit more for Lance than she was letting on? Because when she saw him as a walker, the way she looked at him,
of course,
she looked so heartbroken.
Rubbed her hand all across his face, and
and it also, I think it also for her signals the end.
Not only that too, but you have
the end of everything.
The two people who were the closest to her, because regardless of how she felt about Lance or whatever, she's known him since before the fall. She's known him, I think, like they grew up together. So now your son is gone. The person that you've known the longest and who probably knew you the best, honestly,
is gone too.
Now
and that supported your cause.
So now you are surrounded by
our
General Mercer and all the Commonwealth soldiers. The Commonwealth soldiers who had your back but realized you were trash and turned on you. And all these thousands of people you had sitting outside your gates, standing there watching them beg to come in,
and you wouldn't open the door
while you was going to watch them get torn to pieces.
Right.
Those are the only people.
And wasn't it wonderful that Father Gabriel, the person who closed out all his people, was the one that let the people back in?
Yes, it was.
Okay, I see you.
Redemption.
I see what you did there, Father.
Redemption.
We had some very good redemption arcs in this series.
We did.
We have to talk about that Negan and Maggie scene. Like, Negan finally apologized.
Yeah. I was crying.
Finally. Oh, me too. You know, and I figured that was going to come after he basically found himself in the same situation just the night before with his wife, pregnant wife. And for him to be like, look, I know I probably owe you more than this, but I am so sorry for what I took from you and what I took from your son. And Maggie's face was kind of like, oh, wait, I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah, no, she wasn't.
And it was just one of those, she didn't know I don't think she knew how to process it at first. And she just, you know, she took the rifle from him because he had taken the rifle. He was going to go try and kill Pam because, as he said, if you do this, it stays with you. You don't come back from this, and you have to come back. Because I think he saw when she killed the Reapers, oh, okay, yeah, you know what? She is one step away from crossing that line to where she
can't come back from.
And I think being in a position where you are now on the other end of all of that, and you get to see, oh, so this is what it was like for people who were living under my fear, under my rule. looking in the mirror is a great thing sometimes, because you get to see just how much of an ass you are. And again, I know there are still people out there who don't like Negan's character, who will never forgive him for what he did. And I understand it. I get it. But to sit here and ignore a story like his, like, it would be different if it was just like, if it was all of a sudden he was a changed person.
That would be hard.
No, this was over the course of years, and it was to the point where there were some times when we didn't know what Negan was going to do or what way he was going to go. And so the fact that we got to see him go from this evil person to this prisoner to a person who is basically suicidal, or like, kill me, I don't want to live like this. And then we get to see the way he was before all of this started, how he was a loving husband, when it mattered to his wife, when he tried to do everything to save her, the way he was with the kids, the way he tried to, contribute in his own way and still kind of stay back from everyone until,
and even when
he was like, I've earned this. I deserve to be here. Just seeing the whole arc of his character, you can't say that it wasn't a well-written redemption story.
It was. And he even said it last week. If you haven't been paying when he said, if you haven't been paying attention,
he said, you all are better than me, and if you think I
don't
know that,
and you haven't been paying attention, and people are not paying attention.
They're paying
but
attention
I mean, and I even love how she explained how she just can't be around him, and this is the reason why. I'm not just going to sit here and say these, just walk away from you. I'm going to tell you exactly why I'm having a difficult time.
That conversation was so, like, when she
but he needed to hear all that.
Yeah, he did.
All he was doing was finding people, taking out people, not getting who they were. And then, of course, we see, once you get to know who a person is and what they were and all of these things, you took out your threat, so to speak, but you also ruined a whole bunch of people's lives.
And not only that, but you took out people who could have possibly been assets to you had you approached that from a different way. But I mean, we see that.
Hold on. They also had to approach that a different way too. But we can.
Well, I mean, I understand that. That's what I was about to say. But we've seen that throughout the series, because again, there have been times when our people have been like, "Oh, okay, well, if they can't fall in line, then we're going to take it." Rick said that about the Alexandrians. How is that not different from what Negan was doing? Now, yes, the ways that they went about some of those things, totally different. I don't see Rick using coercion to say, oh, okay, well, y'all finna be my wives. I'll let y'all do this if y'all marry me or whatever. Rick wouldn't have done that. But then again, Michonne wouldn't have been for that shit anyway. I mean,
he at least had that. He had someone as his equal with a different perspective, which allowed him to not fall into, we're just gonna kill him and take their shit.
And I think that's the thing too, because if you look at the way Negan was with certain people, the other wives that he had, I'm not gonna say, okay, I'm gonna be honest. Okay. Aside from knowing the fact that it was basically a transactional relationship. Oh, okay. Well, I'll save you if you be my wife, whatever. We never really saw him, we never saw him be abusive towards them. We know it was implied. Okay. Yeah. But I feel like he was doing that with some of the, I don't want to say weaker ones, but the ones who were more scared of him. But if you notice, the women who stood up to him, Serie, Sasha, Michonne, even when he was being an asshole towards them, he still had a little bit of respect for them as well. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. Maybe if of course, if Lucille had lived, he probably would never have become that person.
No. Right. And then you have to look at, it was a power play, because it was wise of husbands to keep the husbands in place.
Mm-hmm.
So we know that some things happen. It may be some wives he never even,
touched
that with or touch. It's just that they're gonna become my wife because I need your husband to act right.
fall
Get
in
in line.
Because I mean, if you think about it, the way that Negan got into power at the Saviors, he had to kill and displace the previous leader.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're thinking about it from his point of view, okay, I need to make sure all these motherfuckers fear me so that there's no attempt to, create an uprising. Because I mean, if you think about it, had Simon lived a little bit longer, he probably would have challenged Negan at that point, because they were all at some point feeling dissatisfied with how Negan was handling the whole Rick situation.
Oh yeah.
Because they were like, oh, these people giving you a hard time, you need to go on and kill them.
Right. Why is this even a discussion?
Right. But I think that was part of, it may have been part of the old Negan saying, okay, you know what, maybe we don't have to do all of this stuff. Like, I'm gonna do what I need to do just to make sure that fear level is still there, but we don't have to go overboard. I mean, think about it. Let's be honest. In the circle, he could have killed everybody. He could have gone back to Alexandria and killed everybody, because they went in and killed about 100 of his people, supposedly.
That's true.
He could have easily killed somebody. And like he said, he was only going to take one. Abraham could have been just it. Now, we know that wasn't going to happen because of the way the storyline happened in the comics, the way that they wanted that to play out. But things could have been so different. But now, I just really want the story to move forward. Because if you think about it, it's been 12 years. People grow. People learn from their mistakes. People can come to regret the things that they've done. They can't go back and change it. He can never go back and change it. He can't bring Glenn back. He can't bring Abraham back. He can't right the wrongs that he did with Serie and Dwight and any of the other wives that he had. He can't change any of that.
Right.
But like Ezekiel said in the last episode, it's what you do from this point forward that matters.
Right. So you have to see that between serving time and helping others, that people can change. Because if you ultimately say that, okay, he did that, he can't change, so we're going to hate him forever, that's not fair. Because you hope that if you did something wrong and you redeem yourself, that you hope people see that you made changes and changes for the better.
Right. And I mean, all of us, like, I haven't smashed anybody's head in with the baseball bat, but I'm sure at some point in my life, I probably have hurt somebody to the point where they felt that kind of grief. We've all done that, whether intentionally or not intentionally. I wouldn't want somebody to hold that over me for the rest of my life, because I either made a mistake, or maybe I did do something intentional to hurt you. But if I learn from it and regret it and want to change for the better, shouldn't I be allowed to do that?
And try to make amends.
You should.
Necessary.
But that's gonna be a debate that's probably gonna take place.
But that's a real debate that people have every day when people, get out of prison. Oh, he gonna be the same. Oh, he not gonna do nothing with his life. He just, that's something that goes on now.
Right. Yep.
People don't. Once you do one bad thing, you're forever associated with that bad thing. Whether you come out and give to charity and turn your life around, start a Boys and Girls Club, a mentoring program, people still look like, oh, that's the man that killed such and such. So now, it's that one event erases everything else you've ever done. And not just with killing somebody, it'd be women, oh, that's the lady who did such and such, slept with all these people, and how she get married. And, it's that old adage of turn the hoe into a housewife, but some man has. Why you do that? Like, she can't change. Right. Like, she could have been going through something, and this is why she got help, she got therapy, she got whatever she needed to do to change her life around. but that stigma of you is still there. And that's all that is. It's like people have to make a choice. Oh yeah, I used to be this way. Hell, I ain't the same person I was 15 years ago.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Some of
But
us
would you
ain't the
still
same
hold
people
me
we
to
were
the same
a year
standard
ago.
I was 15 years ago or 25 years ago, like before I had kids, when I was in the streets every night? You know what I mean?
Right.
If you looked at me like, oh, I remember you used to, that was 25 years ago. You know, that's more than enough time for me to have changed my life. You know, so it's like you got to give people a chance to grow and do better.
And I think he has done that.
Yep.
Now, how much we'll see once Dead City comes on.
Right. And did we see him at the end in the future?
We got a mention of him. He sent Judith back her watch. So he's off in one of the other communities, because I think when Lydia and Elijah came to the Commonwealth, they passing like letters from other people. So So I think probably, you know, they're communicating between Alexandria and the Commonwealth. So I don't know. Negan could be somewhere else. You know, they could have found another community or started another community, or maybe him and
went
Annie
back to their hotel.
People. Yeah, took their people and went somewhere, and maybe that's where he is, and they're just all like coexisting the way that they were, you know, back when Hilltop and the Kingdom were. I mean, maybe they went to Kingdom 2.0. You know, maybe they
or Jerry Land. What do they call those?
Well, they're gonna be wherever a doctor is.
Gonna be. First of all, one thing I want to add: Nabila is beautiful in person. Beautiful. We didn't even realize it was her. She's so beautiful.
I didn't realize it was me her. And her was so used to seeing her.
Was looking,
right,
wrapped up. She had on this cutout
and the hair down and the makeup. And let me tell you, some of those stars that came out, like you know, some of them you're gonna recognize, but some of them have changed so much, and I don't like, not in a bad way. Like I forgot, somebody was there. Oh, the girl who played why can I not think of her name? No, well, her too. Because I wasn't used to her without the short hair. So when I saw her, I kept looking like, I know who that is. And I didn't realize it was her until I came, you know, got back to the hotel and saw her Instagram. And I was like, wait a minute.
Oh, yeah. Carol's daughter. You mean Carol's daughter?
No. We're talking about Annie.
Negan wife.
Okay. Because I was just surprised with Carol's daughter. I was like, oh my gosh.
Right. On Talking Dead, I was like, wait. I was like, who gave these children permission to grow up? Like,
wow.
But who else was there? Oh, what was her name? She was the chick from Oceanside that got killed when they were trying to get through the herd. Short hair. I know her name is Brianna in real life. I can't think of what her character's name was, but she was there and she was blonde. And I didn't realize who it was until like later on. I happened to catch her from a glance and I was like, I know her. So it was Tara, Alana Masterson. I didn't even know she was there. She was up on stage and I was looking like, is that Alana? Like, that's Alana again. You know, I see her all the time because she and Christian Serratos are like best friends. So I see her on her Instagram all the time. But when I'm thinking about the show, I remember Tara with the long straight hair or the ponytail. And she had very short, kind of wavy hair. And I was just like, it's so weird seeing them like in front of me, glammed up and not in Walking Dead.
Covered in dirt and blood and mud and guts.
Right. But okay, we got some other things we got to talk about. We're not going to talk about the sad stuff yet. Let me tell you, Princess blasted Mercer out of the jail.
Baby,
get back and cover your head. I was like, I need a princess.
I'm going to get my man.
I'm going to get my
and man. I missed it the first time, but that same time I heard, baby,
get back. I was like, okay, she's about to blast it open. She was like, okay, I'm coming to get him. And
nobody puts Mercer in a corner.
Right. She gave that sister a little time to get her hug in.
Right.
And then she jumped. Right. And then she jumped her pole. Yes. They get an honorable mention for coordinated outfits at the end. I'm just saying. Yeah, on his dark purple suit.
She was so funny because when
she had a multicolored purple outfit on,
right,
with her purple beads across her forehead. I was like, ooh, yeah.
Well, I think Princess's color was purple. That
yes.
was her color to begin with. So maybe he matching her.
No, I'm just saying they coordinate couple. That's power couple right there. Power couple in the Commonwealth.
And he's the lieutenant governor.
Yes.
So hey. What was it? He
said on
Talking Dead. It's a good thing to see two brothers in charge leading the way. I got no problem with it
at all.
And Ezekiel can't get away from that. He's always gonna lead.
And he was born to.
Yeah, so I mean, he can't run from that.
I'm kind of like
he tried to.
Can we call him something other than governor? Can we go back to king? Like
we still gonna call him King Ezekiel.
He's King.
So he will always be King Ezekiel to us.
Yes.
So
whatever his kingdom looks like.
Governor E. Governor E.
No.
How you feel?
I can't.
King Governor.
Okay. I guess
come on. Come on.
Okay, we gotta talk about Miss Badass Rosita motherfucking Espinosa.
And she was.
Yes, she was.
She was Super Mama Bell.
Man, let me tell you.
John Wick in that apartment.
What?
They walked
whoever filmed that scene.
Home.
Yeah, it was great.
Yes.
All the babysitters have been
bow,
eaten.
Bow, whack, bow, whack.
You got somebody decapitated. I mean, the walkers are having a feast. And she walks in, she thinks that her baby is gone, and she hears that crying. She takes off down that hallway. And I mean, literally, she runs in the door. A walker is behind the door, grabs her arm. She turns around, hits him. There's another walker in front of her. She shoots him. She turns around to the first walker. She shoots him. There's a walker on the ground. Now, what they did was, and we talked about this because we've seen the clip of this. Whoever the babysitter was had enough foresight to try to protect the kids the best they can. They turned the crib over on the babies. There were 3 babies there. I know one of them was Coco. One was Jerry and Nabila's baby. I don't know who the third one was. Somebody said it might have been baby Adam, but I'm like, baby Adam should be like toddler Adam at this point. I feel like.
Just the Walking Dead world.
So anyway, she goes in, she rescues her baby. They rescue the kids. Now, this is the part that I have a little bit of problem with. Even though watching it again tonight, I was like, okay, I can kind of sort of understand, but no. So everybody's on their way to rendezvous at the hospital where Judith and Daryl and Carol and all of them are. But what happens is Rosita, Eugene, and Gabriel, their ride, 1 is not working. 2, they had to go through a horde. They're surrounded by walkers. They get out of the ambulance and they start fighting, and there is like a little storm pipe on the wall leading up to an open window. Rosita is telling Eugene to go up the pipe, and he was like, no, you first. And she was like, I'll be behind you. Now at first I was wondering, I was like, why would she let Gabriel and Eugene go up first and not her? The only thing that I can think of is 1, Eugene is the weaker of the 3. Like, yes, Eugene has come up. Eugene can handle his own, but still, when it comes to pure strength, I think out of the 3, she is the strongest, and she's the most skilled fighter.
Yeah,
those 2 were also holding babies. And I'm gonna say it from a mama's point of view. we know how to handle our shit holding a child and getting other things done.
Mm-hmm.
They may not be used to that. Gabriel may be a little bit because he is Coco's father and he has not ever seemed like the type of person to be like, oh, okay, well, you're going to handle her and I'm going to go over here. He wouldn't do that, because if that was the case, why even claim her as your daughter in the first place? She's not biologically yours.
Mm-hmm.
But he takes care of her, so he probably knows how to maneuver around too.
Yeah, but he's the sharpshooter.
Yeah,
he's more the shooter. Mm-hmm.
And he had the gun. Eugene is probably the least experienced out of all three of them, fighting wise and child wise. Now, yes, he is also taking care of Coco. That's Coco's uncle, but not to the point where he's going to be able to protect whoever's child he has and fight off the walkers
and climb the pole. See, that's my thing is it's going to take him a minute to climb the pole. So I'm good over here fighting them while it takes him time to climb the pole.
Yep.
And then plus he'd be easier to just pull up if them two.
Right. Mm-hmm.
But the problem is
we can't pull up Eugene. We'll be like, I'm sorry, dude. Just throw me the baby.
Gabriel either, because Gabriel, he might be short, but he's he's solid.
Yep.
So the thing is, they get up the pipe. Eugene gets up. Gabriel gets up. Rosita is going up, but at this point, the herd is on her. They are pulling at her, clawing at her, and she can't get a grip on the wall like the other two could. She reaches out for them, and then all of a sudden you see her falling backward. And I tell you, I missed it when we watched it live because everybody at this point was screaming and hollering. Eugene's Rosita. That was probably the worst sound I heard in this episode. Just the way Rosita, because he feels like he's watching his best friend go to her death.
Yep.
And I think Gabriel was like, I'm coming. I think he was trying to go to her. And she slipped before he could get out that window good. And then the fight started. Because Rosita gets up, she's got her weapon in her hand. She is slicing and dicing these walkers. She's protecting her baby. She jumps up on top of this fire truck, and then she jumps over to the wall again. And this time she's finally able to get up. When I tell you, the damn Orpheum Theater went nuts.
Crazy.
Nuts that whole time. Like, people were screaming and still trying to hear what was going on, but it was like everybody was so emotional because we just knew Rosita was dead. And then when she got up, everybody was cheering, everybody was screaming, and we thought it was okay. We should have known better. Because after all the shit happens and they get a chance to kind of sit down and rest, she's over by the fireplace playing with Coco. Eugene is over sitting. Max is taking a nap with her feet in his lap. I heard somebody say, "That's right, Eugene. You massage them feet." Was that you, Kacey, who said it? Somebody said it in the theater. Was like, "Yep, Eugene, you massage her feet. That's right." And he goes over to her, and it's almost like he's collecting himself to say anything. But at that point, I was not putting it together. When he said, I can't wait for summer, and he starts talking about taking Coco to Oceanside to teach her how to swim, and she will not look at him. And I think the first sentence after he said, I can't wait for summer, you could see a tear coming down her face. And I was just sitting there like, and you hear everybody in the theater go, oh shit, no. You hear all this like collective disbelief. And the way that, let me tell you, Christian Serratos in this fucking episode, I mean, on the regular anyway, but in this episode, the quiet strength that she had for Rosita once Rosita knew what her fate was going to be, I could not stop crying.
Yeah,
I was just like, when she finally sat there and told, he was like, Rosita, when you fell, did you? And she just kind of looks at him, and he was just like, is that, can we? She was like, nope.
He knew he couldn't save his friend.
And she knew it too.
Yeah.
And she's trying to tell him, she's like, look.
When you've been on your back, ain't nothing to cut off.
Yeah.
It's
nothing.
Nothing to cut off. What I'm gonna cut off? Half your torso.
And you know, that was the thing that I was kind of I'm curious about, because if you look at the way she fell this way on her back. Now, of course, she would have gotten up and turned around, but with that jacket that she has on, I don't see how a walker could have bit her. Now, I did see, I think it was a behind the scenes photo, I'm not sure if it was real or fake, of her with her shoulder exposed, and she was looking over her shoulder like somebody was taking a picture of her injury, and it looked like her skin had been torn off, like somebody, like one of the walkers grabbed her and tore some of her skin off. That seems a little more likely to me, especially considering she fell down. They were all grabbing at her when she
but a scratch ain't gonna kill you.
It depends. I mean, when I'm not talking about scratch, like her flesh was torn off.
Right.
So if they had gotten their fingernails or anything in her exposed skin, that would have exposed her to it. Especially, yeah.
Well, it's already in you, so
right.
Yeah. But I was just like,
because I guess if depending on how you fall, and
she rolled over to get up, and that's when one got her on that back. Because when she popped up this way, but she landed on her back. So she flipped over and got up and started swinging.
That's true. So you could have got it as you turning. Yeah, because they all down like this. So as you turn it around, you turn it around, here it comes. That's a good way to get her on the back, because now I'm down trying to get up on my hands and my knees.
Right.
Because she instinctively rolled over to protect the baby and realized, oh, I still can pop up.
Yeah.
Because I think at that point, she probably wasn't even thinking about herself. She was like, I am not about to let my child become a meal. That is right.
And really, if she rolls over,
especially
and if they took her,
save her.
Right. And if they took her, the baby would be underneath and be okay. They would just have to hurry up once the swarm moves to get her off of the baby.
They probably.
So she did the right thing by flipping over.
Yeah. But when she sat there and she looked at him and she was like, I need you to pull your shit together. I don't want them to know yet. And he was like, I can't. She was like, you'll be okay. And she was like, because I'm still here. When she said that, I lost it. Just the way that she said it. I was done. I was like, y'all really finna make us lose Rosita. But I was like, at that point, I was like, okay, we don't have any of the big deaths in the episode. And I felt like at that point, because at that point, everybody was safe then. They had already saved the people, or no, not yet. But they, Judith had been taken care of for the most part. I just felt like, I don't think they're going to give us any other big deaths. I was kind of wondering, once they got to the part where they were trying to take back the Commonwealth from all the walkers, I was like, okay, we might get one more death, but no, it didn't happen. And I am glad. I don't care what y'all say. I don't need to have multiple deaths for a serious film. I don't need to be depressed.
What works for me?
I'm depressed enough that the show is over. I didn't need to be mourning people. We'll come back.
We definitely could have had one more. Just one. It's like you teased you teased and made it seem as if these people were gonna die at different points throughout the show, and like all this foreshadowing.
I like the fact that they didn't die, because they did that shit so much with us with Glenn that I was like, no, if y'all gonna kill him, just kill him. Don't give me the tease.
But I like how Rosita went. She was able to have a Thanksgiving dinner.
Yeah. It wasn't Thanksgiving, but Thanksgiving
dinner.
Right, a Thanksgiving dinner with all her loved ones, and And she was in a
And
nice room, nice, pretty room. It wasn't out in the wilderness. Nice, pretty room. Lay with her baby for a while. Had visitors.
Let me just say
Gabriel prayed over her, and then
they gave
it was
her
nice.
a beautiful death.
They did. I'm gonna say it was very that's the way to go.
It's very
in that type of world. You see what I'm saying? In that type of world.
But I will say, for the final time, Judith asked me to stay out of grown folks' business, all in the business, watching what everybody else. Stay in the child's place. And then she realized what
she
has
not been a child since she's been a child.
Her age says she a child, so she should have set her child ass at the child table, paying attention to what they was doing. But no, you all in there, all in adult spaces, seeing what the hell they doing.
But
now you realize Rosita about to die.
It's not. She wasn't even being nosy or whatever. She pretty much was doing the same thing Rosita was. She was like, my family is here. My family is safe. And I think she was really just looking around at the people that she loved, like, we're all here and we're all okay. And she just happened to look over. She's smiling at her auntie, her TT Rosita, and she realizes that she's just like, again, Judith is not a child in the regular sense of the word. She knew what that was.
Right. But what she picked on was Gabriel, because I have it playing right here. And he looking, wait a second, why Rosita acting like she ain't a little distant, a little funny? He kept saying, are you okay? This is perfect. I want to remember this moment.
And then he was like, wait, what? And then when she tells him, I think he tried to hide it, but when she turned around, when she was holding his hand and she turned around to look at him and she wiped her face, I think that's when Judith knew, because again, I mean, it's kind of obvious. It's one of those things where it's like, okay, just like we didn't know they broke up, but we knew they broke up. It's one of those things you read people's body language and you read the way that they are interacting with each other. And
and she crying and silent tears, and he
smile on her face. She kept the smile on her face the whole time. She was just like, look, my people are safe. My daughter is safe. Everybody that I love is safe. And I'm sure at that point she probably also figured out, maybe Judith had told her, or Daryl had said something about, so the reason why Michonne didn't come back is because she out looking for Rick. So maybe in her mind too, she thought, okay, they're gonna come back and everything is gonna be okay. And she was at peace. She was like, okay, you know what, we're good, they're good, they'll be okay once I leave.
Her main concern at the end, either way, at the end, was Coco. She wanted to make sure Coco was going to be all right. And she knew she had Father Gabriel. She knows she got her best friend, Eugene.
Yeah, they're going to take great care.
They're going to make sure that she is okay, period, at the end of the day.
Right. Now, the people who came to see her, or the people who were with her when she died, you had Carol and Maggie who brought her in the room. And these are the people who, out the group, some of them, who knew her the longest. Like literally her introduction to Maggie was, we got to go. I mean, we got to go save my sister. That whole thing with them taking them to the hospital and Beth being brought out. Rosita was there for that,
Was she?
Yes. That was the introduction of Abraham, Eugene, and Rosita.
They sure was, because they pulled up in the fire truck.
Yep, they pulled up. They pulled up
that
at
was
the
after
church.
Maggie found Glenn.
And that was when they pulled up at the church just as they were getting ready to go to Atlanta, because Maggie had found out that Beth was alive. So Noah showed them where to go. They pulled up, because when she was over there falling out on the ground, Rosita and Abraham and Eugene were off to the side, like looking like we don't know what to do. And then you had Carol. You had Daryl standing in the doorway. I was like, I'm kind of glad they didn't give us a goodbye scene with Daryl and Rosita, because again, I feel like those two were like brother, sister, and they had a really good relationship. And if I had seen Daryl have that kind of scene with her, I would have lost it again. But just the fact that he was just sitting there kind of hovering, like, he probably already said his goodbye. They probably already said their goodbye. And it probably went something like, don't you get all sappy. I ain't getting sappy. You know, that sort of thing. Because that's kind of the relationship they had. So just sitting there watching him watch her, and then seeing her final moments with her baby and her final moments with Gabriel. It's kind of like she and Gabriel exchanged that glance. It's kind of like, I don't have to say it, but you know. And he takes the baby, he walks out, and then here comes Eugene. And I was just like, by this
and
point,
he does tell Gabriel tells her, "We'll see you again."
By the time Eugene walked in, girl, I'm like, snotty nose, face all swollen, crying, just
done.
Yes. And he's like, Rosita, he was like, what'd he say? I wouldn't be half the man I am if it weren't for you. And she says, I'm glad it was you in the end. And then she peacefully dies off. And I was just like, and then the next time we see him, it's at a little
He got a baby named Rosie.
He got a baby named Rosie. And it's at the little memorial fountain, which we're going to talk about the fountain in a minute. We got to go back a little bit, but I had to go ahead and get the Rosita stuff out because I still can't watch that.
And then I'm glad they didn't show us like who had to, end her life.
Eugene, that's why she said it. That's why she was like, I'm glad it's you in the end.
Oh, I hate that he had to do it.
But you know what? He probably wouldn't have wanted
that it was him that did it.
Yeah.
I know, but I'm just saying that had to be just, I got some tears now. I had to be heartbroken.
Of course.
So.
Of course.
And he loved her. He loved the hell out of her.
Oh my God.
He did.
Okay.
He loved the hell out of her.
So when they had that scene and he was
sorry, Max.
And when I think at that point it had evolved to something different. But when
I know, but it's just the love that he has for Rosita and the respect he has for Rosita and just the type of person she was. I'm just saying, I'm just being realistic. Couples therapy. I'm being realistic here.
I understand.
You understand? I ain't saying the same type of love, but a couple times he'd be like, "Oh, she's not Rosita." I'm just saying. He loves Max.
Oh,
but there's gonna be sometimes she wasn't Rosita. Okay. All right, keep going.
But when I tell you, when he was sitting there trying to get it in his mind that she was gonna die, he just said, "It's just that I love you so much." And she just looked at him and she was like, "I love you." I can't even do it.
I know. It's deep.
Because we don't get scenes like that in this show. Not often. When do you really? When do you really have time to actually sit there
and process emotions?
Peacefully dies.
Yeah.
You don't get it very often.
And they've had
not in this world.
Not in this one. And they got a real chance to. The sitting off she got, nobody ever got. Nobody.
Because nobody else was peaceful. I mean, even if you think about
Carl.
No, Carl wasn't peaceful though. Remember, they had this whole thing where they were getting away from Negan.
I wasn't even thinking about that. Yeah. I just was thinking that they had time to you know what I'm saying, process, time to talk to him, time to talk. And I'm more thinking of that type of piece, that he was around his family than these other ones who on the ground and your guts being poured out and you just done and they got to run away.
But I mean, if you think about it, Carl was on the ground too. He was in the burnt out church. He didn't get the luxury of dying in his bed.
Deanna was another one.
No,
but she was on the couch and she ended up being a walker helping. Before she turned into a walker.
Because if you think about it, what happened? Deanna was in the upstairs bedroom. And when they were trying to get away, she got up and she rushed the walkers. So she didn't even have a peaceful death because she died being torn apart by walkers. Because she was trying to give them time to get away. I think the only other one I can really think of right now that comes to the top of my head was Bob. And his was after a trauma because he had been taken by the Terminus people. They had taken his leg. They had eaten the tainted meat. They came back into the church. Rick killed them, and everybody got killed. Yes, he got a chance to be in, in a bed, and Sasha was there with him, Tyrese was there with him, but still, it wasn't peaceful the way that Rosita had. Rosita was, like you said, she was able to enjoy a meal, seeing everybody happy. And then after everybody had that happiness, that's probably when when she broke the news. And I'm so glad we didn't see that either. I wouldn't have been able to make it. Oh.
Now let's get to the good part. The whole purpose of us being here.
Wait, we still got other stuff to talk
about. Were you talking about the end? Okay, no, we still got Pamela.
We still got
she in jail.
Okay, yeah, she in jail.
She in jail.
It was nice.
We got to talk about that Scooby-Doo plan they came up with.
I felt like we were in the video game. Okay, everyone, go to the central corner. And when you get to the central corner, make a right. Stay together. We'll meet up at the medical bay. I was like, are we in the video game? Like, we transitioned real quick to get. Okay, so they blew up some walkers, but I like what Daryl said to convince Pamela. Well, you didn't really convince Pamela. You convinced, what did you call that woman next to Pamela?
Oh, you talking about the trifling? I don't even remember what
the fake general.
Yes, the fake general convinced him not to kill Father Gabriel when he was opening the door, and he said, come on, people, come on. We should not be doing this.
We don't have to live like this.
Right. We are not the Walking Dead.
We ain't. He said we ain't.
We ain't the Walking Dead. I'm sorry. We ain't the Walking Dead.
We ain't the Walking Dead.
With my super blood. We ain't the Walking Dead.
Yeah, he was like, we have other enemies besides each other. Like, it doesn't have to be this way. But I also love
you trying so hard to make the new world like the old world.
He said that was a fucking problem.
Right.
But we've been saying this. We said this from the moment we were introduced to the Commonwealth. We were like, this is going to be a problem because you're bringing back old ideals. You're bringing back old prejudices, old egos, old all of this stuff. There's a reason why the world fell.
Didn't work.
Yep.
So why would you want to go back to that? We've been saying this from jump.
Because she was on top. That's why. People that are empowered want to remain empowered. Right. Even in the middle of a fucking zombie apocalypse.
Right.
I want to be the.
That's why her son was gonna be in charge. I mean, they wouldn't even having no elections. So then General Mercer
appointed.
General Mercer arrested her for treason.
After she arrested him for treason.
I mean, turnabout is fair play. And then what
who got the better treason charge?
They let the people in the gates. And again, Father Gabriel was the one who did this. He started walking towards the gates. All the Commonwealth soldiers have their guns on him. They're like, stop, we'll shoot. He was like, I'm letting these people in and I'll kill anybody who tries to stop me. I was like,
all right,
he meant that shit too. He said that shit with his chest.
Father Thug.
Right, but he also he has damn backup surrounding him, like, y'all motherfuckers shoot him. Excuse me, y'all shoot his ass. We gonna shoot you.
Carol was like, we'll
and don't forget we got 2 snipers.
Oh, and they didn't even know where Maggie and Negan was at that point. They just all of a sudden, Walker Lance's head just exploded. Like, oh, where'd that come from? Oh, hey, Maggie.
Hey, boo.
Then they had their secret plan to blow up all the nice houses with the Walking Dead.
That was
Maggie was like, oh, now
that was a good way to get rid of that hierarchy.
Yeah, everybody staying in apartments now.
Did you hear what
everybody?
Did you hear what Carol said when they had Pamela in the jail and she was talking about what was it that Pamela said, you don't know what it's like to lead people, blah blah blah. And Carol was like, that's okay, we'll figure it out. At least we don't have to worry about what happened, what to do with your
who gets your house.
Because they blew the shit up out their house. But yeah, because the house that they had the stuff in. So basically, what they did, they went and got some of the fuel from wherever they keep their fuel reserves, which I'm not surprised is right there in the rich part of town. So they go get the fuel. They set these traps. They put the fuel in the sewer tunnels. They put them upstairs, and they jerry rigged a record player so that when the arm came off the record player, there was a little spark and it set off all the fuel drums. Now the sad thing is, or the funny thing is, depending on which way you want to look at it, they showed the surroundings of the house that the fuel drums were in, and all you see is old pictures of Pamela and Sebastian and her husband. I was like, oh, y'all finna blow up Pamela's house. Make sure she really doesn't have anything to look forward to. So
nothing, no pictures, nothing.
Right. So in that sense, as a mother, I feel sorry for her because now you really have nothing left to remember your son by. But yeah, she kind of deserved it. And did you notice that the jail cell they put her in was not one of the nice ones like they had Mercer and Lance in? They gave her like a thugged out.
It didn't even have no padding on the wall.
None.
It get cold in there.
Mm-hmm.
Question. So because they did that, and it's one of two things. Either the upper crust community was far enough away that it didn't affect the other community, or was their pipeline system totally different? Because how did it only blow up that and not get to the rest of the area?
I think they were. If you look at the aerial views,
but they're showing right now, it's far away.
It looks far enough away.
Mm-hmm. It is. They got like a nice thick forest between the regular folks.
Because I'm like, how did they blow all this up and didn't blow?
Because they were probably in the old world. Those were probably two separate communities, and just when the Commonwealth started getting built, they probably put around a wall around the whole thing. That's what I'm thinking. But either way it goes,
but that was my question. How you blow up everything? But okay,
because even when you see the walkers coming through, they're coming from the woods,
right?
The herd. So, but yeah, I was feeling a little bad. I was like, oh, Judith, your little friend is at the door. She was at the gate. I was like, okay, Pamela. And the crazy thing was, Pamela was standing there looking at them trying to get into the gate. And they got to a point where the soldiers were shooting them, like the people who were climbing the walls, they were shooting them off the walls. Like,
so you just gonna shoot your people? You don't give a fuck about these ones.
And that's the reason why she's not in power now. That's the reason why her soldiers turned on her. Because if you think about it from the soldiers' point of view, okay, if you're gonna let the quote unquote lower people go first, who's gonna be next in line? Us.
Right. And then hell, that's probably where some of them live, or their families. When she was like, oh, that means they'll go to the lower wards first.
Yeah, the lower wards is where all the soldiers is. That's where all the regular folk, the working folk are. They're not up there with Pamela and her people. But notice you didn't see none of Pamela's people around. So I don't know what happened to them.
No, they were in their house, but they were told you either gonna stay and get blown up, or you gonna come out with us and help. And they came out and helped. They were able to pack a bag. Pamela couldn't. They got to take a couple pictures with them and found them apartment or north side.
But before
there have to be some accommodations, unless they just had big ass houses with only one or two people in.
And that could,
which is possible.
That is possible.
That big ass house, and it was just her.
Right? Yeah.
But let's go talk about something else so we can segue into Kacey's favorite part of the show.
Yes.
So during one of the parts where Judith has regained consciousness, this is the first time that she gains consciousness, and she's still very weak, and she's looking around, she's trying to figure out where she is. She asked Daryl, she was like, where am I? He was like, you're in the hospital. She was like, why? why? Am I gonna die? And he was like, no, you're not gonna die. She was like, it feels like I'm gonna die, but I can't die because mom's going to get dad and she's gonna bring him back and we're gonna be together again. We're gonna be a family. The look on Daryl's face, like, what the fuck did
You're going to get dad?
It's almost like he was trying to figure out if she was telling the truth or if she was, delusional from the blood loss. And then the second time that she regains consciousness after they've gotten her to Tommy, and Tommy has done surgery to, you know, get the bullet out and everything, she looks at him and she was like, what I said about mom and dad. He was like, is that true? She said, it's why she never came back. I was scared to tell you because I thought you would leave too. And Daryl and Carol are looking at each other like, Rick is fucking alive? Like, what? But Daryl's like, I'm not gonna leave. I'm not gonna go anywhere. And you know, she has a valid reason. And I've said this before because people were like, I don't understand why she's not telling him. Do y'all remember that Daryl lived off the grid for 18 months looking for Rick?
Yeah, he did.
He would not even come into Alexandria and take a shower or sleep in a bed because he felt a little bit of guilt, and he felt like, I have to find him. I have to bring him home, even if it's his body. I need some closure. We need some closure because, again, I feel like Daryl feels like part of that is his fault because of what him and Maggie were trying to do, trying to go kill Negan. He was trying to distract Rick. They ended up in that damn hole with the walkers, and that just wasted a whole bunch of time and ended up with them being in this position where Rick had to, quote unquote, sacrifice himself to save them. But yeah, so let's talk about Rick and Michelle. I know we got other stuff.
Wait, no. What? We're not there quite yet. We have to do the 1 year. 1 year.
Okay.
Because we're gonna end with that.
Fountain.
Yeah.
About the what?
So Hanako said she wanted to say something about the fountain.
Go ahead. What's going on with the fountain?
No, I'm just saying, you know, I was just looking at the fountain. I was like, so did they build that in the lower section or did they rebuild that like in the estates as like a monument?
It looked like a monument because when they was up on the little thing talking, all that behind them was clear. Everything was clear.
Yeah. Okay.
And that could have been a part that we never saw before too.
No, they probably turned that estates into
because that's a lot of rebuilding.
Damage
because it like the ground has sunken in. I don't think that section. I think it's behind the curtains, so you don't see what's behind the curtains. They're covering up the burnt forest behind you. That could have been a park that was already there that's been dedicated.
Okay, that sounds about right.
Max went to a different hair store.
I'm dead. Found a new wig.
Yes, she did. Yes, she did. She had a baby. She had to get a new one.
You know, hair grow when you're pregnant. You know, it's the vitamins and nutrients that the baby gives you.
Okay, so that was her own hair then. Okay.
So yeah, we get the 1 year later. Everybody's happy. You get to see Magna. Oh, I'm sorry. Thanksgiving scene. Magna and Yumiko are back together.
Back together
again. Life is too short now. Come on.
And you know, the funny thing is they were talking about it on Talking Dead, and Eleanor Matsura was saying that when they got the script, you know, I think the kiss happened between them, but then when it came to the year later part, apparently they weren't together anymore. And Magna supposedly had a new girlfriend, and she said was like,
we're not doing this.
She said she called Angela and was like, can we please let them have their happy ending? Like,
right?
Can that be a thing? And I'm
like, why would we end that Thanksgiving y'all kissing, and then a year later you was another? Be like, we're not doing this.
Well, I mean, if you think about it, it's realistic. Some people just aren't meant to be together. And I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be very honest. I was not one of the people who bought into Magna and Yumiko's relationship because I didn't at first. Like, it was so weird because at first it was like they were just friends, and then all of a sudden out the blue, they're kissing each other when they were this was when Alpha infiltrated the carnival.
Mm-hmm.
They kissed each other to go one way and to go the other way. And I was like, oh, okay, I guess they're together. And then you got the one scene of them, you know, the one love making scene that we had of them, which I will admit was quite hot. But it's like, other than that, I didn't really feel like it was kind of like one of those relationships I felt like was kind of thrown in there, like Rosita and Gabe. Like, you have us when we first meet them, Magna is distraught because this guy who was part of their group ends up getting killed. And I thought, oh, that's her boyfriend, which could have been. But I never saw her and Yumiko act in a way that would have suggested that they had interest in each other. And maybe if I go back and rewatch it now, I'll probably see it. But I never saw it. So when it happened, I was like, that came out of left field. Like, where did that come from? It wasn't that I didn't like it. I was cool with it once I realized, oh, okay, I guess they're together. But again, it just felt like we would get like these intermittent scenes of them together. And then Magna disappears because of the cave in. And then she comes back and she's angry. And then she has this breakup scene with Yumiko. I can't do this anymore. I was like, you can't do what? You ain't been here to do like, I was so
confused. You know what? And I'm with you too on that. Yeah,
I was so confused.
It was like, wait, what? Did I miss something?
I saw more of it after they broke up. Like, once they got into the Commonwealth, and you could kind of see them stealing glances at each other while Yumiko was up here being an attorney and Magna's down here being a server. Like, you could kind of see that they're kind of like, I kind of want to be with you. I was like, I see it more after they broke up than I saw it before. Same with Gabriel and Rosita. I never, like, when they first got together, I was like, this is weird. I mean, him and Anne were weird. Him and Rosita, I was like, that flew over my head. I couldn't see how that even happened, especially when she had Sadiq, because I felt all the chemistry with her and Sadiq in just the few scenes that we had them with. But
see, well, I got it, because if you really looked at it, when Gabriel was with Anne, I mean, he was laying the lines down.
And I mean, I get
he a line giver, so that's what he did with Rosita.
And
Rosita and Sadiq was like, oh, we on the break. And Gabriel was at night just talking to her. And they were like, well, what else? What we need to do? Let's go ahead and do it. And she enjoyed it.
I mean, and
that was their relationship.
It's a lot up under that little father suit.
Right.
I get it. It was just, again, that was one of those relationships that threw me for a loop. But then at the end, when Yumiko was turning to Magna, she was like, can we talk? Magna was like, talk? No, bitch, kiss me. I was like, yeah, I was one of the people who was cheering, because I was like, that's what I really wanted out of the end of this series. Like, I knew that there would be some death. I knew that there would be some heartbreak. But I was like, if you're going to end this show, if there's a possibility we may not see most of these characters again, please let them be happy. They have been fighting and fighting and fighting and fighting and fighting for this whole time. Let them have some peace. Let them have some happiness. So when they kissed, I was like, okay.
Just like they won't give Daryl no happiness.
He got a little happiness. He rode off into the sunset.
Okay, here's the other
He got a motorcycle back.
So this is the thing that did piss me off about this episode. Y'all been teasing this whole Daryl and Connie thing,
and then did it again.
And even in this episode, at the end, she's sitting there having a nice little picnic with her friends. Daryl comes in, she sees him, she grabs her bag, she gets up, she runs to him, and it's just a hug. And they have a regular conversation.
Why the hell we got this? I mean, you could have just left this on the cutting room floor. I didn't need this.
Tongues are down.
I didn't need this.
I'm just.
It was the closure for their relationship.
And from
what?
From what
I'm trying to help. I don't know.
I don't.
I haven't read all of the interviews yet, but apparently there was an interview where Angela Kane said that there were plans to go in that direction, but when Lauren Ridloff left to do the Eternals, it kind of messed the timeline up and how they had to film things. I'm like, that ain't no excuse.
You could have the same way you threw Yumiko and Magna together at the end.
That's all we could have had right there. She could have ran into him, gave him a hug, and gave him a kiss, or did that 1 year at the Thanksgiving dinner. I mean,
and then 1 year later he got to leave.
Yeah,
it could have worked. It could have worked.
We would have been there.
Or right now, and then he ends up leaving, and then that's the end. Give us something.
Just a little something. Give him a reason to fight to want to come back from France, however the hell he gets over there. But the other thing in this 1 year is the scenes with Daryl and Carol. Those were some of the best.
You're my best friend.
Like solidified that in writing. In writing, it was on my screen in closed captions. You're my best friend. Oh, okay. So for all those people who were like, yeah, they're soulmates, they're meant to be together. I'm not.
They're best friends.
And the thing about it is, I don't ship them together.
I don't even see them like that.
It truly feels like a best friend, soulmates. That's how they are.
Yes.
And to me, that's how it is. Carol always seems so much older than him. And especially like in the beginning when he was doing all that searching for Sophia, it seemed more like he was doing it. He wasn't doing it like in a romantical way. He was doing it as I'm your friend. Let me help you find your kid.
I've always felt that. I've always felt that. It's like even thinking about them being together in that way is weird to me because it feels like you said, Michelle, feels like best friend soulmate. Like like this person is closer to me than a brother would be, closer than a sister. Like there's immense love there, yes, but I've never looked at it as romantic love, and I think that one little scene also confirmed that as well. So I don't know. And plus, like somebody said, notice she's staying behind in the Commonwealth where Ezekiel.
That's what I'm saying. That's who she's gonna get back with.
Because
she's gonna get her baby daddy.
That I have felt.
Yes.
Like even
many
from
a
the
time.
beginning, from the beginning, when she was looking at him like he was crazy, there was something about him that she was drawn to, probably because of his ridiculousness. So,
and even when they was right before he got kidnapped, and they in the store, I mean, in the in the bakery, even then,
I thought I recognized your footsteps. He was like, "You know me a little too."
Yeah, she's like,
"Well, that's what happens."
Got you some pastries
when you're married to someone for
I know the footsteps naked.
But remember, they did have some cuddle time before he left for. Was it before he left for
when he got the surgery?
Was it after the surgery? Was it?
Remember when he brought her the box of stuff? They had wine together.
You're talking about cuddle time. I'm talking about they had some in between the sheets time before he left for the Commonwealth. You don't remember that? Yes, they slept together, and when she got ready to leave, he said something about well we still we still working that way, and she was like, that was never the problem. I was like, look at y'all being
she did say that.
Okay. So but that scene between them, it really felt like a goodbye, and I think it carried, for me as a fan,
a goodbye between who? Daryl
and Carol. It really felt like it carried more weight for me because Carol was supposed to be in the spinoff with him, and now she's not. She's staying behind. She actually has Lance's job in the Commonwealth, so she is one of the leaders of the Commonwealth. She is going to stay behind and help make that a better place, which I'm glad for. But it's like that. that scene with them at the lake, and then when he got ready to leave and he told her I loved you, she was like, I love you too. I was like, y'all don't do this to me. Y'all can't.
Yeah, that was
We
sweet.
never apart. I was like, y'all can't. And I love it that Daryl, wherever Daryl is going, because I think when they went to go see Maggie, they had a conversation, or she was saying, I think she said there are others out there, and I want to talk about that. Again, she's talking about, okay, we need to start expanding. We need to start building relationships. And I was like, I like that. I like that. So Daryl is doing what he was going to do, what he was doing with Aaron. He's going out,
finding people.
And he tells Judith, he was like, if I see or hear anything, I'll bring him home. I'll let you know. I'll bring him home.
Okay.
And then Judith was like, Uncle Daryl, you deserve happiness too. Yes, your happiness is over there having a picnic with her sister.
Okay. Go get your girl.
They better give him somebody when he goes to Paris. That's all I got to say.
I don't want him to have nobody in Paris. He needs to come home to Connie.
Well,
he needs to come home to Connie. He
that's
don't
not
need to have
happen.
nobody in Paris. I'm sure Daryl don't know how to speak French. He don't need to try to learn. Just learn enough to get the fuck out of there so you can come back home.
Why they always put him in situations where he don't know the language?
You know what though? I'm ready to see it, because I just want to see how he's going to maneuver through that situation. I just want to see it. It's going to be funny.
He is as country
and I'm here for it.
Yes. Okay.
And I don't foresee Paris having many forests where you got to track and hunt down your own food, and I don't see it. Many woods. I mean, you gonna hunt on the Eiffel Tower? I mean,
well, I have heard some of the leaks about some of the scenery or some of the sets that they're doing. I don't know how true they are, but I'm really getting to the point where I'm going to try to stay away from as much as I can about his show. I'll probably watch when they release a trailer. But other than that, I want to go into this totally blind.
Mm-hmm.
Same with Dead City.
Mm-hmm.
And let's go on ahead and talk about Rick and Michonne.
Yes, go ahead.
First of all, did y'all see how beautiful she looks?
Of course.
Like,
of course we did. Of course.
She's gorgeous.
That outfit was amazing. I'm just
saying. Wasn't it?
So let's that
katana work. I was just so happy to see her slice something. I was just
so let's talk about Miss Michonne and Mr. Time.
Okay, carry on.
So we get a coda at the end of the episode.
Mm-hmm.
And it starts out with a
match
struck. And then you hear this dialogue. They are both speaking and they're both writing in a notebook. And it appears from the things that they are saying, Michonne is writing to Judith. Rick is writing to Michonne. So from the way that the scenes play out, Rick's is taking place in the past. Michonne's is taking place current time. So Rick, wherever he has been, he's barefoot. Now he has his boots. That's the thing. He has his boots. He has his bag. He has his journal. And he's also got on a he's got on a CRM jacket. And he's got a CRM staff weapon, just like Silas had in The World Beyond, what they were using to kill walkers. The plot thickens. So he's having this conversation in his head with Michonne, talking about the people that he's loved and lost, and the things that they taught him, and the things that she taught him, and how he's holding on to that, and he's trying to get back. I was like, okay, y'all.
First of all, let me say, when that match struck in that theater, you could feel fucking electricity. That whole place erupted
to the point where I was sitting there shouting. I was like, y'all shut up, because we didn't have closed captions on the screen.
Right. Right.
So you can hear him saying stuff in the background, but because everybody was screaming, we couldn't hear what the fuck he was saying. I was like, y'all, please shut up so we can hear what he's saying. Please, just please shut up. But I was like, okay,
It
I
was
guess
amazing.
I'm just gonna have to listen to it later.
Yeah. I was glad to just be there for that.
Right.
The amount of energy in that room when that match lit and we saw them curls dangling on that forehead.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Baby.
And then on Michonne's end, like I said, she's writing to Judith. And what I found out later, going back looking, she's writing in the same notebook he had. So that bag and everything, that's all his stuff. So whatever he wrote to her, she's read it. She's seen it. So now she knows definitively he is out there. That is the only reason why Michonne has stayed away this long. Because I feel like if she had been out there searching for him and didn't have any kind of like any indication that he was out there, I think she would have gone back a long time ago. She would have been like, okay, look, I tried. I looked for him. I lost track of him. I don't know where he could have been if he's alive. But no, you had this notebook and you had these boots. You know he is out there. And I think that's the only reason why she has stayed away as long as she has.
Yeah. And it took Hanako to make me realize that when he threw the bag, he threw it on the ship that she found. That Virgil took her to.
You know, while he's sitting there writing in his book, he hears, or he's standing at the water's edge. Now, apparently he is in, I think somebody said Philadelphia, because that was
somebody else said Jersey. I heard Jersey.
I think you heard Jersey because people were trying to say because he was in Jersey last week that they were thinking that's what it was. I don't think that's where he was. I think he was in Philadelphia. But he's standing at the water's edge and he hears a helicopter. And that's when he's like, no, no, no. He gets ready to run and he throws his book bag on that boat. And somebody in the helicopter, you know, says, what does he say? Commandeer.
Come on, Rick.
Yeah, Commandeer Grimes, you have abandoned your post. You need to come back immediately, blah, blah, blah. And then the guy says, come on, Rick. What was it that he said? You heard what he said. There's no something for the living. There's no, I can't remember what the words were. But I was like, because Rick looks at this helicopter and he smiles. I was like, what the hell is this? Hold on, Rosita is about to die in my background. I have to pause my TV. But I'm sitting there like, who is this? Now, I need to go back. Now, I haven't paid attention to the voice, but recently online, people are speculating that that's Giancarlo Esposito's voice on the helicopter. I was like, okay, I got to go back and see. But Michonne, on the other hand, Michonne has this nice new bodice, and it's made of leather. I'm sure to like protect her. She's got this interesting little headpiece that's got like this gold face guard on it. She still has her katana. She has a horse. And when we see her, she's riding the horse. She kills a walker. And then it looks like she is about to ride into a huge ass herd. And I was like, what the fuck is going on? But I need to get a better look at the background because somebody was saying they think that it looks like a city behind her and like there may have been people or something burning. I'm like, no, I think those were clouds, like the shadows from the clouds. But I'll have to go back and look and like really, really pick it apart. But yeah, we have Michonne back. We have Rick back. And like Kacey said, the theater went fucking bananas. Went bananas. 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 Whew. And then we got to watch her on the Talking Dead with a lot of the other stars, a lot of the other cast members. Chandler Riggs was there, and turns out Chandler was in the finale episode.
Yep, he was.
He said that he came to set on the last day just because he wanted to be there for the last day. And he said Denise, I think, did he say Denise? I think he said Denise saw him, and she gave him Seth's hat and was like, get out there, get out there. So he was one of the background extras back there working in the gardens right behind Maggie and Herschel in Alexandria. I was like, oh, that's sweet. Him came home for the end, which was really sweet. Because I mean, if we couldn't have Carl at the end, which sucks because we should have had him till the end of the series, at least he was a part of it. Yes. You know, I thought that was really sweet that they even allowed him to do that. So, yeah, it's over. I'm so sad. I'm so sad. Let's see. I'm trying to think because I know there's probably some stuff we forgot to talk about. I was just mostly thinking about the important stuff. Which
I think we actually hit everything.
Did
we? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we did.
Wow. Okay, I thought it was going to take a lot longer to talk about this episode. But okay.
I can't wait for the spinoff. I'm going to be there front and center like this.
I'm sure.
Watching faithfully. And if they put it on your calendar, Michelle, if they have a Talking Dead, we're going. We are going.
Look at me. I'm all on the, I'm trying to find Carl.
Oh, it's very much a blink and you'll miss it. So someone actually screenshot, like they
I'm gonna have to look that up.
Okay. And expanded it, and then so I'll send that to you so you can see
okay.
it.
But yeah, Michelle, be prepared to go to California or New York or wherever the hell they have this thing. We're going. Okay.
Correct. And maybe we'll see some of these friends in the Fear the Walking Dead of the new season. Maybe a couple people. Somebody.
I don't know about Fear the Walking Dead, but I mean, because if
they could have a crossover.
But see, the problem with Fear the Walking Dead is timeline wise, I believe they are about 3 years behind where the current show is.
Oh, okay. I thought they have caught up, but see,
But if they have a time jump, we could.
That's true. And there is a possibility they may have a time jump based on one of the photos that's been released. Somebody who was a baby in the last season appears to be about 12 now. So
what the hell?
Yeah.
I'm
like, I hope that's not who I think it is.
Oh, okay.
It probably
I have to keep watching to see this time jump here. Okay. All right.
Yep. But it'll also be interesting considering what happened at the end of last season in Fear as far as Morgan goes. So I have to wait for y'all to catch up.
Okay, yeah.
That. Highlights from the LA trip. So we got to be part of the group of the first 100 people who were allowed near the red carpet so that we could see the stars arrive. So we got to see like Norman Reedus and Michael Rooker arrive. We saw Kaylee in person. We saw Yvette Nicole Brown. She came over and talked to us for a little bit. Like I said, Melissa McBride, she actually skipped the actual red carpet and came over to talk to the fans. And when folks started doing selfies, I'm telling you, me and Kacey, we were sitting at the top. They had like some expandable bleachers like you find at the high school football games. I ran down those things so fast. I was like, please don't let me bust my ass. But if she's taking selfies with people, I need a selfie with Melissa. I've never had an opportunity to meet her before at a con because when she goes to conventions like Fandemic or whatever, she's one of the VIPs. So you have to pay a lot of money to even be able to meet her. And because they always overbook those people, you never really get to spend time with them. Like, it's literally, hey, how you doing? They're signing autographs, you take a picture, then you got to go. And I was like, I can't do that. So the fact that we got to meet her, and she was very lovely to the fans, very nice, talking to everybody. Really everybody that we got a chance to meet there was amazing. We got to meet Walker Wynn, who was one of the Canva finalists for the contest that they have, and she's the person who she's the artist who did these posters behind me. So we got to meet her in person finally, and Vincent, the person who actually got us the link so that we could get our tickets and reservations and go. We got to meet him, and we just, it was a fun time, even just standing in line talking to people. Kacey is one of those people, she does not meet a stranger. She was talking to everybody. Anybody who walked around with a badge, she was like, hey, what you doing? What you supposed to be doing? Where you going? I mean, she was talking to everybody.
Honestly, I swear that's how we ended up with bracelets. I swear.
You might be right.
Because when they was like, oh, we only got one left. I was like, give me my bracelet because I'm the next one.
Yeah,
and so she was like, hold on. Left, came back with 2 bracelets.
Mm-hmm. So it was a lot of fun actually being able to watch Talking Dead. And this was something Kacey had said in LA. When you talk about manifesting stuff, because when they started season 11, or not even started season 11, at the end of season 10, I had said to Kacey, I said, now, they're probably going to do something big for Talking Dead for the finale. Mm-hmm. I want to be in LA for it. I was like, I don't know how I'm going to make this happen, but I really want to go. And I really thought it was going to be one of those situations where you go online and you request the tickets like you would for a regular Talking Dead show. So I was like, yeah, those tickets go so fast because they only allow 20 people in the studio audience at this point because of COVID. But I was like, nah, they're going to do something big. I don't know what they're going to do, and I don't know where they're going to do it, but it's got to be something like for the 10th, I think for the start of the 10th season, they were at Madison Square Garden. I believe that was the one where they were at Madison Square Garden, or one of the ones they were at Madison Square Garden. I don't remember. It might have been the 100th episode. But I was like, they have to do something big like that in order to see it out the door. So either way it goes, I'm going to find myself in LA somewhere. And we were there.
And we didn't get murdered at our hotel.
We did not. She kept saying, oh my God, this looks like a murder hotel. It was a cutesy little, I don't know what you want to call it, like a boutique hotel type. It was
a motel.
It was a motel, but
okay.
it was an inn. It was an inn. But it was, it was decent for
like Red
us
Roof
being
Inn?
there. It was very cheap for us.
Yeah. And we parked our scooters outside, and they were still out there when we went the next day. So.
We did. We took scooters around the city. It was fun.
Which was awesome.
We had a good time.
We're going to have to do that no matter what city we go to. We need to find a scooter.
It was awesome. Look, we even decided we were going to take the scooters to the airport that morning. Now, we were 11 miles from the airport. We decided, okay, we have time left on our scooters. We're just going to ride the scooters until we can't ride anymore, and then we'll Uber from wherever. So we finally get in the spillway, a little spillway you see in all the movies. We've seen it in the Fast and Furious movie. You've seen it in Stranger Things, something similar to it. We get on the bike trail. We're not on the bike trail 5 minutes, and Kacey's scooter dies.
Oh, I was so mad.
And we are nowhere near the street. We're nowhere near anywhere where we can come up to the street. So I try to turn my scooter off so I can walk with her. No, they don't allow you to turn your scooter off. There are certain areas that are considered off limits, and you can't leave a scooter there. So I had to ride for an additional 2 miles to get to the street and get somewhere where I could leave my scooter. So that was an interesting morning trying to get back to the airport. But overall, again, we had a great time. We got in on Friday. We went to get something to eat, and then we looked at the time. We were like, okay, it's 4:30. The Funko store closes at 6 o'clock. Let's just go look at the Funko store. And when I tell you, Kacey and I were walking around that store like we were children.
Picture. And then we made our own Funkos.
I'm jealous.
And then because we were on Hollywood Boulevard, we walked for 2 miles looking for Norman Reedus's Hollywood Star so we could take a picture. We're looking at everybody else is like, oh. But we were like, no, we're looking for Norman's, especially because both of our phones were about to die.
I was just going to say.
We were like, we just need to get this one picture and we're good. But we had a great time. It was, great being there with other fans. Like I said, if I could do that kind of viewing with fans for big episodes like that all the time, I absolutely would, because you can't beat that kind of energy. Like it was an amazing vibe to be around. And then of course, seeing Talking Dead on stage, seeing, Scott Gimple, Greg Nicotero, Angela Kang, I think, who was on this side, Norman, Melissa, Lauren, and Jeffrey Dean Morgan. And then over here, you have like Ross Marquand, you have Kari Payton, Michael Cutlass was there, Christian Serratos was there, Sarah Wayne Callies, Lori from season 1 was there with the kids, with Judith and Carl. And it was a lot, but it was so much fun. And we were like, man, Michelle should be here.
We were.
Michelle should be
You see my face? She should have been there.
She should have.
Yes, I had to throw my own little solo watching party.
Well, at least you didn't have to tell nobody to hush when Rick started talking.
No, I didn't. It was just me, screaming and talking.
Right. Okay, so
because I was like, what's about to happen? Who are we about to get?
And the crazy thing was, of course, because we were there in the theater, we couldn't I couldn't do what I usually do. Like when big moments happen, I usually pause. I have to take it in. I couldn't do any of that, so I had to just go with the flow and feel everything. Like I said, I was a mess by the end of that episode, a pure mess. And then when they did the in memoriam on Talking Dead for Rosita, I was like, damn it, I just stopped crying.
Yeah.
Like, why are you doing this to me?
And I was mad at the end of the episode. I was mad. I had to process because I really didn't. That was hard with her dying. We named everyone else. I did not have her on my list. And then I was like, they left her, Coco, almost an orphan.
Right. I was devastated. That I did not want. I was like, we have enough kids losing their moms. Like, can we not have another mom die? I mean, I get her reason for it. I get her reason for it. She said it was she felt like with the happy ending that most of the characters got, she felt like they needed to break our hearts one more time. Okay, I get it. Whatever. If that's
they did.
That's selfish.
Yeah, it is. Because it could have been Aaron and we could have been all right.
No, absolutely not. How about somebody that doesn't have kids to leave behind? These kids have been through enough.
Well, if I had to pick one, it's gonna be Aaron.
No.
Not Rosita.
No.
She's just being selfish at this point.
Right. She was.
And then she did say that, being an actor is psychological, and she felt like, not seeing this character again, she needed to have her own closure. Which I understand, but I'm like, she could have showed up in a spinoff. Her bestie is out there in the world. Like, I really would have loved to see Rosita and Michonne reunite. And someone pointed it out on Twitter and said, do y'all realize that the last conversation Michonne had with Judith, she asked about Rosita and Coco. And now when she comes back, Rosita's going to be gone.
Coco will be there though.
Well, first of all, they're gonna have to spend a whole week by the fireplace catching her up on everything. She's been gone wild.
Rick
too.
Half the people he knew is gone.
Be like, don't even ask who's gone or not. You just look around the room.
He gonna be like,
if they
so
here,
y'all had to deal with people who wore dead faces, dead masks on their face. Like what?
They were called the Whisperers.
Like, huh? Yeah.
Then we had to deal with Commonwealth.
Those are gonna be
a chick named Pamela.
See, Commonwealth will probably not be so far-fetched with him because he's coming from the CRM. So the Commonwealth is probably, he's looking at that like, yeah, you know what? That's some bullshit. That's probably what he would look at. Like, oh yeah, I'm glad my people came in and stepped up and took over.
And I don't even think he would think that was far out with the Whisperers. Now, you know what he would probably think it was a little strange when he was like, yeah, there's variant walkers now that you got to deal with.
No, he wouldn't think that's strange because remember, he was the one in the very first episode when Morgan's wife came up on the porch and was looking in the peephole, and she looked down at the doorknob and she started twisting the doorknob. It was Rick's eye that did this number here and was looking down like, what the fuck is she doing? Variant walkers are not, I keep telling folks, variant walkers are not, that's not the first time we've seen them.
No, we haven't.
The last time we seen. Plus, he was also in the department store when they were trying to escape, and them walkers were beating on it with the rock.
Right.
Variant walkers. That ain't no stranger to Rick.
But climbing up some walls, he may be like, oh, okay.
No, because when him and Glenn walked out for the first time with the guts, and they climbed over the fence, there were some walkers climbing over the fence.
I don't remember that part.
When they
or that little girl he shot
the cargo truck.
Okay, or that little girl he shot who was still carrying her teddy bear.
No, she wasn't carrying it. She was walking and she bent down to pick up the teddy bear and kept on again.
And carrying her teddy bear.
Walkers are not new.
So for him, none of that would be. He's like, all this shit is strange. I'm all right.
He'd be like, oh, I've seen that. Oh, I've seen.
He's like, I've seen it all then. So the Whisperers wouldn't surprise him.
With 50,000 people, I've been over here with the CRM. They got 200,000. That's probably why it took him so long to get away from him. He got 2,000 eyes on him. And he got Major General Bill probably looking at him too, like, okay, yeah, Jada's done told me about you, but Michelle, you'll get to that when you watch Real Beyond. But yeah,
so I get through this season.
But okay, so we have Dead City, which I believe is supposed to come out like sometime around April. We have Daryl Dixon, which is currently filming right now. And then the Rick and Michonne series is supposed to start in January.
Awesome sauce. That's next month.
Far, those and all of them are supposed to release in 2023.
Okay.
So I'm thinking the Maggie and Negan spinoff, that's going to be in the spring. I'm thinking Daryl will probably be summer, and then Rick and Michonne will probably be fall.
Okay, we got to go somewhere to see Rick and Michonne first episode.
Where we going?
I'm hoping that Nick and Norman's is going to do viewing parties for the spinoffs. That would be nice.
I don't see why they wouldn't.
Yeah.
They're definitely going to do it for Daryl Dixon.
Yeah,
of course. I mean, it's kind of his place. So yeah.
You know what we're gonna need to do? We'll pick a weekend and everybody take, or when y'all have a Monday off, and go to the one in Chattanooga.
Ooh. Okay. And we still can go to the one down here. It may not be a viewing party, but I mean, at least without the viewing party, we'll have access to the full menu.
Yeah.
And get them Philly fries.
You know what? Heard them doggone Philly fries.
That's all I'm ordering.
You guys got anything
else? It fills you up. That's all I'm ordering. Can I get the Philly fries, please? And the strawberry fields. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah. The drinks
I already know what I want.
The drinks are on point.
I don't even need no menu.
She already knows. You guys have anything else to say about the Walking Dead series finale. I'm gonna say that every time I have to say it out loud. I'm
it
gonna
was
draw
a
it out just that
wonderful
much.
12 years, and I'm glad it ended the way it ended with my
Yes.
boo. So that means I get a little more of my boo. But I've enjoyed all the deaths,
Mhm.
all the lives, all the celebrations, all the characters we met, all the characters we lost.
The ones we loved, the
It
ones
was
we
a good
hated.
ride. It was a good ride.
Yeah. I'm just
Ended on a great note.
It
it
did.
did. It did.
Hmm.
Even after breaking our hearts and ripping it out and stomping
Yes.
on it and all that. Yeah. Yeah. Took us to the streets.
Mm.
Just made us feel it like, oof. So I guess that is it for our Walking Dead coverage until Fear the Walking Dead returns. I believe that is March, maybe. I have to go back and look. But I know Fear is coming back, and then we have Dead City coming, and that's within the next few months. So at least I don't know, we have something to look forward to. Michelle is catching up on Fear. I think, Kacey, are you done catching up on Fear?
No, remember, I can't, it's not on Hulu. Season 7 isn't on Hulu.
That's right.
So
So
I
we're
got to
going to
catch
find.
them as they come on. And they not on AMC Plus, which I'm about to cancel.
So we're going to have to figure out some kind of way to get them caught up on Fear the Walking Dead so that we can cover that as well. Because
But I think it's on
can't.
Pluto TV.
It's on. I'm watching it off of Hulu.
Yeah,
No, but
Hulu
it
doesn't
stops
have
at season
season
7.
seven.
It does. Okay.
Yeah.
No.
What's the next season though?
I mean, it stopped at season 6. I'm sorry. It stopped at
Okay, I
season
just had
6.
to find because I'm on season 3. I'm towards the end.
Oh,
Okay, yeah.
you good.
Because I got all the way up to the end of season 6, and then I go to season 7. It was like shows you may like, and I'm like, hold on, I'm a whole. So I was able to catch I set my DVR. I found season 7 because even on Xfinity, season 7 you got to pay for. But I went through and I found the first 8 episodes that were free, and I recorded those. But I have not been able to catch the last half.
Okay.
So I'm sure
that
as we get closer, they'll have some type of marathon, I'm sure, and I'll be able to catch the last, or at least be able to record them to where I can watch them when I can.
Right. So yeah, that's gonna be it for our Walking Dead coverage for now, and we'll see you with Walking Dead in 2023. But for now, that's it for our show. You can find us online at www.fandomhybrid.com. We are on social media on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Fandom Hybrid. We have a YouTube channel where you can watch our videos. We have a Discord channel where you can chat with us, and you can listen to us on all major podcast streaming platforms. Thanks for listening. We hope you join the conversation next time.